The heart line. A heart line or branch that touches Jupiter shares positive traits with what might be interpreted as somewhat negative traits if the line or branch pushes too deeply into the Jupiter mount. The beneficent properties of Jupiter influence this line, making the person magnanimous and generous in love. This person can be romantic, thoughtful, and guide a relationship through hard times. This person can be depended upon to do his best for the good of any relationship. If the line extends through Jupiter, this person could be rather domineering and egocentric, wanting to control any relationship. This person wants to be considered first in any supposed joint endeavor. He wants an upper hand in a relationship, thinking that he comes first. In some rare instances, tiring of easily controlled lovers, this person will seek out people who are better at their own game than they are, thus driving them into a frenzy of insecurity. A heart line close to the base of the fingers with a wide space between it and the head line shows a person who can be quite unresponsive and uncreative in relationships, in short, a bit of a bore. Cutting short the mounts reduces this person's ability to express himself, also, leaving him at a loss as far as a sense of values. This person may be considered cold and calculating by some because of the distance created between the head and the heart. The heart line ending between the index and middle finger is the preferred ending for traditional palmistry, but it has to be noticed that the mount of Saturn can be reduced if the line does not veer sharply downward. This would reduce the person's sense of values in dealing with love, causing love-making for this type to be a little more primitive and impulsive. If the middle finger is long and sturdy, this effect would be offset. The heart line ending under Saturn accentuates the physical sort of love and takes it a step further to a difficulty in making an association between sex and love. A "you get yours, and I'll get mine" level of attitude prevails. There is nothing malevolent here. If this person teams up with another of his type, contentment, or some changing, is a certainty. The heart line pulled by the head is another indication of the head ruling the heart. This person will involve himself in relationships that add up but don't necessarily produce any emotions. The point where the line is closest to the head line is the period of life when this will be most strongly affected. A feathered heart line, or chained, traditionally signals an unsettled heart, meaning that this person is never quite satisfied in a love relationship. He is always looking for something better. The grass is always greener syndrome. If there are other weak aspects on Jupiter or the thumb, this person may have a problem tending toward infidelity. It shows a proclivity to heart problems. A heart line that ends on the head or lifeline can make for complications. This person's amorous feelings will be censored and edited constantly. Any form of spontaneity will most likely be stifled, giving this person a rather inhibited reaction to love. He very well might feel that the material aspects of his life deserves greater attention than what he can muster for any love. This person may start relationships up but not have the time to keep them going. The heart line on the lifeline goes beyond and reverses the above indications, showing one who lives their lives around their love interests, suffocating lover. A heart line ending under Apollo will not be seen very often. Its owner probably relates better to inanimate objects than flesh and blood. This person is very likely to be a loner to the extreme and comfortable with it. He is likely to be possessed with his own self-expression. He very well might be blessed with unusual artistic talent, given that there are strong basics to the hand. Connecting line between the heart and head, see branch connecting head and heart lines. Some think provides a conduit for the two-way exchange of energy and influence. As discussed earlier, it would seem to be dependent upon other characteristics in the hand as to whether this trait is positive or negative. On the positive side, this, very common line, balances the person's outlook in regard to emotions and practical matters. On the negative side, there is a blurring between matters of the heart and the head, making it difficult for the individual to distinguish between the two. Without very positive additional palm and hand formations, this feature would be considered negative. This connection superimposes a rough-formed simian line on top of the head and heart line, with all the attendant implications. The simian line is, in essence, the head line and the heart line rolled into one. The name comes from the hands of primates who have one line instead of a heart and head line like humans. Tradition states that this is universally negative, but most modern palmists have exposed that type of thinking as archaic. Again, whether this is positive or negative depends solely on the basics of the hand. The dilemma, or blessing, comes from the fact that the head and heart line are combined into one. If the hand is square, practical, and uncomplicated with a strong thumb, this person probably has the strength to manage the balance of his emotional nature, symbolized by the heart line, and his mental or rational nature, symbolized by his head line. The danger exists in becoming too rationally cold or too hysterically emotional. The line begins in lower Mars and ends in upper Mars, gearing this person for, and making him capable in, a great deal of conflict. In a thin, soft hand, with a weak thumb, this person's life might be a living hell. Lacking the strength to accurately discriminate between emotions and what is rational, would probably plunge this person into one violent quagmire after the next. Reverse branch connecting the heart and head lines, see head connected to heart, provides a conduit for the two-way exchange of energy and influence. This, very common line, balances the person's outlook in regard to emotions and practical matters. The illustration shows a line that, if extended in either directions, could be interpreted as a short fate line, Apollo line, or Mercury line, health line, line of intuition. This type of connection is developed without the simian line formation and is viewed as being positive.